Dark Silence is an example of the difference in quality to old Italian horror and modern Italian horror. People had to actually try back in the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s with Italian horror. Even low-budget Italian horror, they tried. They did all sorts of wacky and kooky things with it. They got bad dub linings and lip readings and syncing and all that crap besides. They did dubbing ADR and all that. And the audio quality was poor, the picture quality was poor, but it had this aesthetic about it that made you go like, yeah, this is some schlocky fun. Italian horror was a lot like that. Italian horror is also very expansive and wide genre-wise. There's actually some really good, high-quality looking Italian horror, and then there's actually garbage Italian horror. The type of garbage Italian horror that would go onto a 50-film Mill Creek horror film set. I have a bunch of those I have to get to, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that a lot. Dark Silence, though, is an example of a modern look at Italian horror, and I'm not sure this film sticks the landing that much. It has some good ideas. It's got the cheesy acting. It's got the cheesy atmosphere. It needs that cheesy background music, the score, cheesy score, like a simple doo 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 with somebody walking down a hallway. It's all dark, and then there might be something spooky in the background or something. That type of shtick that you saw in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s with the crappy horror? That type of, I don't know what kind of, was it a clarinet? Or something like that. It was this, but it was an aesthetic that I found very pleasing. I like schlocky Italian horror like that. This is trying to be very serious. It's trying to be the Babadook, and it's not achieving Babadook. It's trying too hard to take itself seriously, to be serious, to look serious, that it doesn't work. A lot of the acting is very overly dramatic in a way that doesn't work like it did in the 70s. The cheesy acting complements itself. It's like an alphabet soup. It's like a chicken soup. You need to have all of the ingredients to make a perfect chicken soup. You need the carrots to be nice and juicy and soft, taste like the broth. You need a very nice tasting broth. You need to have little pieces of celery that soak up the chicken broth, that melt in your mouth. It tastes good. You need to have nice juicy pieces of chicken. You need to have well cooked noodles. Everything needs to be in its perfect place to have this perfect chicken soup Italian horror movie. And this film doesn't have that chicken soup ingredients. It doesn't have the ingredients. It came out 2015. Let's say 2015. And the camera, digital filmmaking, it looks very digital, so it doesn't have that film grain. It doesn't have that choppy audio that it needs. Even if you made this black and white, the digital filmmaking does not do this film any favors at all. It's like there's this shift at some point in the filming history, in crappy filmmaking, where digital filmmaking became cheaper to do than using actual film. Like poor quality film, poor quality lenses, and cheap effects, but it had that aura about it. It felt like a film. It felt like something you could have on the B side of a drive-in theater that you just have on the background while you make out with your girlfriend in the 70s in the back of the truck or whatever. That's that type of aesthetic that I love in my crappy horror movies. This is the to-be horror variety. Digital film, digital effects, even the crappy monster here, this monster man here, the effects here with this guy, on paper he looks fine, on paper he looks scary, but when you actually see him, when he's trying to talk, when he talks, it doesn't work at all. The film falls apart Plot-wise, I really like it, though. Plot-wise, it tries to do a lot of interesting things. Plot-wise, it tries to capture this vibe of there's this man who has lived selfishly, who has used his family members, who has left his parents into a retirement home where they wasted away and faded away. He never visited them. It kind of felt like Hellraiser 5. I think it's Hellraiser. Yeah, Hellraiser 5. It felt like Hellraiser 5, which actually I really like. I think it's called Hellraiser Inferno. I really like that one. And I think that one was filmed on film, not digital. I could be wrong there, but it just had that aesthetic about it that this film really needed. It really needed that aesthetic. I don't know which one had the higher budget, probably Hellraiser, but if you were going to make a movie like this with this type of plot, with this type of ideas, you really needed to go the Hellraiser Inferno route of shooting it, of costume design. It is definitely a cheap effect movie, but you need some of that chicken soup ingredients to make it work properly, because this doesn't work properly for me. Maybe it might for you. I just don't care for the Tubi digital Italian horror flick for this, because it's got the ideas of a great Italian horror flick, a cheesy Italian horror flick, drive-in Italian horror flick of the 70s. It's got the ideas, it's got the ingredients, but they're not in the right places. It's not in the, it's like differently cooked celery. The celery is hard and crunchy when you pick it up and you check. The noodles are a little bit hard. It's not cooked properly. The broth is a little bit too watery. It doesn't have enough chicken broth taste to it. The carrots don't look good. The chicken is hard and dry. There's no appeal to this chicken soup of a movie. But I can appreciate it. I can appreciate what they were trying to do. If you can ignore a lot of the bad ingredients of the chicken soup movie, and you look through it and try to follow the plot all the way to the end, there is something interesting here. There is a story that is trying to be told here that I can really appreciate. It's just done far better in other places.